it sound? How does it? Are you hearing anything?
Yeah, I can hear fine.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you
There.
fine.
Okay, it's just really interesting because like I don't know, like the levels seem like it's doing what it did last time, where it was like one's really quiet and
Mhm.
one's not. But then again, maybe I'm just a quiet person. I am constantly feeling like my voice is just something that I stole from somebody else, and I'm like,
Mhm.
what? Where did it come from?
I have
Where
that
did it go?
problem where sorry to cut you off.
No, please cut me off.
Because I didn't grow up in a fixed place
Oh,
where I don't know how I'm trying to sound.
yeah,
Um
like to fit in.
yeah.
Did you get like a little bit of mix of accents
Y- it-
because of it?
yeah, cuz my mom spoke English as a second
Uh
language
huh.
and she was the parent I was around the most cuz my dad was always deployed. Um Everyone around me was mostly from the South.
Mhm.
My dad's family is from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Um, so I just don't know how I'm trying to sound.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I would guess Midwestern.
Probably.
It's like it's like a professional Midwestern though. And it's like a marketable Midwestern.
I'm not too harsh on those A's.
No, it's like you're aware of how bad it could possibly be as a Northwesterner, so you like tone it down.
Yeah.
But like, I've never heard it like in a boot from you.
No.
No,
um,
it's never gotten that bad.
but I am like, if I'm around someone and they
Mhm.
have an accent, I will switch.
Yeah, no, I think I do the same thing because it was like at home I was with my mom who spoke Spanish and had a thick Puerto Rican accent, but she also spoke English. Um, my dad was like not around as much, but like second most, I would say. But also my grandma, who was Mexican, spoke Spanish
Yeah.
often and had an accent. And so my dad's mom's Mexican, and my mom's mom's Puerto Rican, and she has still like the thickest Puerto Rican accent. Like one time she was like, we were watching an episode of the Glory show Wife
Hmm.
Swap on ABC,
Classic show.
and she was just like, Anthony, check it out, the Hebes. Look at how they live. And I was like, what? And she's like, the Hebes. And I was like, the hippies? And she was like, yeah, the Hebes. And I was like, yep. Now I was like, Mom, I never realized before that grandma has an accent. And she's like, are you serious? um, but yeah, and then at school I would just like have to, I don't know, I feel like I just talked differently than I talked at home because it was like, people would be like, "Why do you say things like that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It's how my mom says it."
Yeah.
Like, and then I eventually became culturally white, and
Hmm.
it all changed. Orland Park beat the ethnicity out of a lot of people. I feel like
Yeah.
Orland Park, Illinois, it's like bleach, just makes things white.
I mostly learned English, I think, from TV.
Oh my God, that's a real thing that people do. In like, I met somebody who learned how to speak English from watching Dragon Ball Z,
Amazing.
and he sounds just like Sean Schemmel, the voice actor for Goku. He has his exact cadence, and like the reason I didn't meet him personally, but he was at a panel at I think it was at C2E2 one year. They were
Hmm.
doing like a voice acting panel with the Dragon Ball Z people, and this guy asked this question. He was like, "My question's not really a question. It's just I wanted to share with you that I learned how to speak English from listening to you talk." And Sean Schimmel was like, "Holy shit, you sound just like me." Which explains why we have a lot of kids who sound just like Dora the Explorer. I watched a lot of that as a kid who was probably a little too old to watch Dora. Like my brother was watching it, and I was like, "This is a good show." I'm sorry, you said you learned English from watching TV. What shows?
Probably not true. Just because my mom spoke very
Mm-hmm.
basic English. And when I was
Mm-hmm.
growing up, she would take all of my like writing assignments and look at them to try and my mom can speak English really well. She can't
Mm-hmm.
write as well. Like she always has someone write stuff for her if
Mm-hmm.
she's doing something in a more professional setting or talk over the phone because she doesn't want to have to explain herself a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense.
But mostly just cartoons.
Yeah, my parents definitely used the TV as the babysitter for a lot. Like they'd be like, "You're gonna go stay with your cousin."
Yeah.
But your cousin's just gonna turn on Cartoon Network and you're gonna watch Tiny Toons for like 2 hours and then we'll be home. I was raised by television. I can say that. I think a lot of people were.
Mm-hmm.
But like when people say like, "Oh, I don't have a TV," I'm like, "What is wrong with you?"
I think I have a problem because my TV is always on, even if I'm not watching it.
Like it's just got stuff on in the background, like
Yeah.
right now.
I need white noise, is what it is.
Yeah, no, I need white noise. That's why I listen.
When I was little, I would fall asleep listening to Simpsons commentary.
That explains it. It explains so much. Like, okay, so tell me more about that. Was there like, so did you have like just some of the best TV writers just talking you to sleep every night? Is that?
Yeah, just coming up close to my ear, telling me about their writing process.
That's incredible. So, are you gonna sign up for those classes at Second City?
No.
See, like I'm an adult and I just recently found like, oh wait, great writers have just like hours of recordings that you can listen to and get free lessons from. And like I'm just now taking advantage of that. I'm like, if only I could have learned through osmosis.
Yeah.
As a wee baby.
That's the only thing I hate about the switch from like DVDs to purely a digital format is that if you buy something on Amazon, you're not going to get the commentary. You're just going to get.
Yeah, that is frustrating. Thankfully iTunes doesn't have that problem. Because I've been buying a lot of movies on iTunes recently. Because I bought an Apple TV for $30. Somebody was just like priced to go, and I picked it up. But I can say I do miss having my physical copies of things. But it is nice being able to pull up my library wherever I am. The only movie that I have downloaded onto my iPhone is Into the Spider-Verse. And I haven't watched the alternate universe mode, but it's on there. Also, the commentary haven't watched yet, but at some point, gonna have to do that and going to have to feel like I'll never amount to anything. What is happening on the TV?
I don't know. I've
it's
just been
still
letting it
ballet
play.
dancing.
It's still ballet. As reference, I was watching the Star Wars French disco ballet.
And The Big Bang Theory?
No.
Raggedy C-3PO. That looks like a Smurf porn.
It does.
100% look like a Smurf porn.
I should probably turn this off.
I mean, you don't have to. Sometimes there's always a good opportunity to pull up a YouTube video. You know?
Yeah, I was trying to delete a lot of my YouTube histories, so my recommended wouldn't be too embarrassing.
Oh no, they don't care. Also, my recommended's so embarrassing. You don't have to worry. No, I get recommended a lot of like frozen food reviews. Like, I watched one too many for frozen food reviews, and now people think I really care about what the new kids' cuisine flavors are like. And I'll be honest, sometimes I do watch them just because I'm like, I want to see this grown man tell me exactly how bad a kid's cuisine tastes.
I love it because I feel like, for the most part, food reviews on YouTube are always done in that person's car.
Yeah. Why? Oh, I guess it's drive-thrus, right?
I guess.
And if we know that it takes me like 40 minutes to set up the podcasting equipment, so I imagine that they just set it up in their car. I hate eating food in my car, so like I could never do it. I could never be a food reviewer. Not a car one, at least. Maybe like a pedicab. Like I ride my pedicab to the restaurant, and then I sit in my pedicab. I eat the food, throw it away, throw out my waste in like a proper receptacle, and then bike off the calories, and maybe make some money by giving a pedicab ride.
That's a great way to get sick.
A great way to get super sick, but also pay rent and get some vitamin D in the meantime. So maybe that's what I do this summer. Maybe that's what I do. So were you watching the ballet Star Wars for a reason? Is there something in the pipelines?
No.
No?
No. No funny articles coming out of that. I remembered I was talking to someone about that. And
I feel like
I really needed to see it again.
I've always had videos like that, and I think I made a playlist for a while that was called must see videos. just so that I knew to show them to people. And then I think I only put one video in there, and it was Kevin cooks stuff in the office, a bonus feature from from a season of The Office where Kevin cooks stuff in the office. And I never updated it ever again. But I do have a 14 video playlist that is like all the spooky songs from kids cartoons, because I had like a Halloween playlist, and I just watched the Hex Girls video, and I was like instantly falling down this rabbit hole.
That was the first thing I thought about was the Hex Girls.
The only thing that I think about is the Hex Girls. Okay. Super fan.
I told you about my childhood diary. That was just one entry.
What was it? I think you did tell me about it, but I don't remember what the entry was.
The entry was just, "Dear Diary, today I was watching Scooby-Doo, and there was actually like a good song on it. It goes like this: We're the Hex Girls, and we're gonna put a spell on you."
That's on the playlist. It's perfect. It's such a good... Was that The Witch's Ghost, their first appearance? Was Scooby-Doo and The Witch's Ghost, was that their first appearance, or was it later? Or was
I
it
have
before?
no idea.
I don't know. I know there's one with Gene Simmons and the Hex Girls. Did you know that?
No.
Gene Simmons, I think, has done at least 3 Scooby-Doo specials. And maybe it's not 3, but like I think Gene Simmons has been in some on his own, and Kiss has also been in some.
I know Kiss has been on. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So like if you put it together, it's like Gene Simmons, Kiss.
Makes sense.
I miss when Scooby-Doo used to do those crossover episodes.
Well, that was a whole series.
Yeah, that series was so good. Was it when Shaggy had the red shirt, or was this the movies? I just remember the Adam West and Burt Ward episode so vividly. Because there's like 2
I think I have that on tape.
Oh my god, on tape?
Yeah.
Viewing party.
These cabinets are just filled with VHSs.
That's so cool.
It's really sad. I need to get rid of them.
My dad threw away all my VHSs when we moved out of one of these houses, and it was like I had every episode of Winnie the Pooh on The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh on VHS. Gone. Could have sold it on eBay for so much money.
Because I have a VHS player, and I was like, I'm gonna get tapes of movies that play really well on tape. But I kind of overdid it. I have a ton of Disney VHSs that I should just get rid of because I don't care about those.
Yeah, fuck them. Fuck Disney. Get out of here. No, I think VHSs are cool though. Like I like the fact that it's like
I like the wear.
I like putting it in and watching it and being like, oh, this was produced like at a certain time and hasn't been produced since then in this format.
Like that it's not clean, like there's noise. And I feel like the glossy effect of HD has just ruined my eyes.
Like when you walk into a Best Buy and you look at all the TVs and you're like, TV doesn't look like this.
Yeah.
You know, like,
well, also because now
jarring.
TVs play at a higher frame rate and they're not supposed to. So sometimes if you're just like casually watching TV, it looks too smooth, and it's because your TVs are set to a high frame rate.
It's too smooth.
It's the frame rate that you're supposed to watch sports with, but it's set as the default because it's America and we love football.
That's bizarre. So
sorry.
No, please.
Have you seen the video of Tom Cruise explaining how to change your TV settings into the standard frame rate for film?
No, but can we pull it up?
Yeah. Let me find it.
Tom Cruise coming in clutch.
It was like a plea he did.
It's like, please watch Mission Impossible 17 in the right frame rate. It was supposed to be viewed.
I think, he's...
Oh, that's why Spider-Verse looked so shitty on my TV the other day. Oh my goodness.
Hi, I'm Tom Cruise, obviously. And I'm
Are they doing a Top Gun?
He's in a...
Or is he just wearing that?
Mission Impossible Fallout. We want you to enjoy it to the fullest possible effect.
Oh my god, it's exactly the reasoning I said.
You were on point.
Video interpolation or motion smoothing is a digital effect on most high-definition televisions and is intended to reduce motion blur in sporting events and other high-definition programs. The unfortunate side effect is that it makes most movies look like they were shot on high-speed video rather than film. Which is sometimes referred to as the soap opera effect.
Tom Cruise has not aged since Mission Impossible 2.
He hasn't, and like I'm okay with him being the MCU's Reed Richards if they ever go that route. Like I'm looking at him, he could get stretchy for me. I'm okay. Like, I don't like him in anything else, but I'll let him get stretchy. And
I feel like all of Scientology's money, though, is going into keeping Tom Cruise young.
Yeah, no, like looking at him right now, it's like he's aware of it.
But it's because when people do plastic surgery and stuff, you can tell none of that is there. But he can't be aging that well.
What it looks like is happening is maybe he has a pact with some sort of deity, and that deity is granting him powers. Or he might do like the Sandra Bullock baby penis thing. Did you hear about that?
No.
Sandra Bullock went on like a real live news station and was talking about like this thing that is like this new cosmetic thing that's like Botox, but it's like not it's like way better. And what it actually is it's like a serum made from Korean baby foreskins, and she has it injected into her forehead.
I just figured he's getting stem cell.
Yeah, stem cell makes more sense than baby foreskins, but where's your Sandra Bullock? So, wow, no, but like that was just weird because I didn't think he looked that good still.
Yeah.
It's like, what did Paul Rudd and Tom Cruise do to just be 35?
I'm going to pull something up just to have on the TV.
Please.
Have you seen any of the hyperspace hoopla stuff?
No.
Also, something I was talking about at work. Hyperspace hoopla was this dance-off in the Disney parks before they fully had the rights to Star Wars. It was when they were just licensing stuff, so they didn't care about character integrity, and it was a dance-off where they got characters from Star Wars to just dance.
No, this is real. Man, I haven't been to Disney in a minute. This I want it to be better than Turtle Tunes or like the Coming Out of Our Shells tour. Oh, I love it. He looks like a burn victim. In like the worst way possible.
There's only one character that's a burn victim.
I know.
And it's not him.
Oh my gosh. I'm so happy that Nick Fury made his face look like that in episode 3 of Star Wars. Oh my god, didn't even think about that. So we made a really big realization recently together as friends, and that is that Captain Marvel's a Star Wars movie.
Yep.
We
both started laughing at the same part, and I was just thinking, oh, I hope he's thinking what I'm thinking.
Oh no, and I'm shocked after watching it because I watched it once and then I saw it my second time with you. The first time that I saw it, I feel like I must have been like drifting to Sleepy Time Junction or something during that scene because I was like, what? I would have remembered that this was pulled straight out of the Phantom Menace. I would have. And the fact that right after, it's the dogfight scene that is 100% just Star Wars. And we both look at each other and we're like, this is 100% Star Wars. And then they do the scene, they cheer, they throw their hands up in the air, and it's like, woo! I'm like,
now this is pod racing.
I was like, is Nick Fury gonna say it? Is like, if he was like, now this is like dogfight, and no, he can't say that. You can't say now this is dogfighting in a Disney film. But like, there was a draft where somebody was like, can we have Nick Fury say now this is dogfighting? And they were like, no, we can't. But you know what we're doing here. Also, good movie, good Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
good Star Wars movie. Like, Star Wars never had like an amnesia thing, did they? No, I guess they did, right?
Rey doesn't remember who her parents
anything. Of course she doesn't. I just always put Rey's backstory and I replace it with just Luke's because it's basically the same.
Yeah.
And I guess we could go down that rabbit hole. Do we want to go down the rabbit hole of why Captain Marvel is a better Star Wars movie than other Star Wars movies?
Okay, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Because if we're gonna definitively put Captain Marvel in a ranking with other Star Wars movies, who's on the other sides of it? Because I guess now we just need to figure out what's the best Star Wars movie. I say Empire.
Yeah.
Often. And the worst, I always say Attack of the Clones.
I liked Attack of the Clones.
But it's like, you also love Phantom Menace.
I love the prequels.
You love the prequels, and that's fine. But what would your worst Star Wars movie be?
Probably Solo.
If we're gonna count Solo, then yes, Solo's
If we're gonna count it,
the worst.
do we have to count it?
If we have to count it, which we will. Solo is terrible, and also takes place in the 90s, like Captain Marvel. Solo, like, you had a really great write-up about Solo, and I haven't read your revised version of it, which I'm sure is better, and I apologize for not being a better
I don't.
Solo is like 100% like somebody's just like, can I just be like, can my fan fiction be real?
Yeah.
Like, can my Solo fan fiction be real? I guess the more I think about it, the more I'm okay with it. Like, it's growing on me the more I think about how unnecessary it was and how it's just, like, kind of masturbatory in a way. It's like, I guess I could watch it again.
Well, for me, like, prequels in that capacity don't make much sense. So, like, with the prequels,
Mm-hmm.
those made more sense to me because it was characters you didn't really get to know in the original trilogy.
Exactly.
Like, you don't actually get to know about Darth Vader or Obi-Wan Kenobi that much. Like,
we've seen a buttload of Solo. So much Solo.
You already know about the character.
It's like there's books too, right? Like, can't you just read books about him?
There are just no stakes in movies like that because you know Han's going to meet Chewie. They're going to make it through. None of their problems are going to be real problems. I continually will argue that Solo should have died.
And that we find out that Solo's a clone.
Yes.
Yeah. I would have loved it. That's how you saved that movie for me. I think you are the first person who's given me the here's how we fix it, and I'm like, I like that.
He's a clone, but he has all of his previous memories. That's the kind of clone he is, and that's why he always shoots first, is because in his first life he didn't shoot first and got died.
I forgot that you mentioned that, and that's like easily like the best answer to that movie. But how did you feel about Rogue One?
I didn't even watch it.
Really?
I didn't watch Rogue One.
You didn't watch it? Is it because there was no stakes? So, spoilers. Everyone dies. Which is obvious because it ends at the beginning of episode 4. But they did it well. Like, they make you feel for the characters.
I'm pretty sure at the time no one realized until the end of the movie that they were the ones who had the initial plans for the Death Star that Leia gets.
Yeah.
I think if I had seen it in theaters, I probably would have liked it.
In theaters, it was a good theater film.
But I didn't see it. Because, you know what? Star Wars, when I was little, did its job of, like, babysitting me and, like, sparking my imagination. And, you know what? The new stuff is for the kids now. It's for the kids now.
I think Rogue One was for me. I think it was specifically
maybe
made
I just
for
need to
me.
watch it.
The reason I think so is because it was all characters that we had never seen before and that we were never going to see again, and you kind of can go into the movie accepting that. And it's just a really good standalone Star Wars universe movie.
Yeah.
Which makes you, and it doesn't focus on the Force or Jedi, and it's like, oh, like, people would say when that movie came out, they're like, oh, Rogue One's the first Star Wars movie that really focuses on the war aspect of it. And it's like, no, like, that's really arguable because there was so many
Clone
battles.
Wars?
There's so many wars in the Star Wars universe, but, like, I understand what they mean by it because it's like it shows more of like, oh, this is how communities are affected by the wars that are going on. Here's how the Empire's control is like truly affecting like the small people in all of this, and like not the rebels, not the people who are like happily living in the Empire. And you don't have the need for a sequel. Like, you're not wondering what's going to happen next, which sometimes is just so satisfying in a movie when you can just go in and be like, I had a good time and I don't need them to make another one. Granted, it already had its sequel, but it didn't need it. It could stand alone.
I'm sure I will like it because it's exactly that thing where I probably won't thoroughly enjoy any new Star Wars material unless it has nothing to do with the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Once they sever that, once it's just like characters in the universe, then I'll probably like it again.
I agree.
More. I mean, I still like it. I still enjoy watching the movies.
I don't think I ever seek out watching Star Wars films anymore. Like, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I know them well enough. If there's a reason, if there's like a group of friends that are like, we're gonna watch Star Wars, I'm like, okay, I'll watch Star Wars. Or it's on like TV. But I don't think I just turn on Star Wars anymore. I was never that big of a fan. I used to read the books sometimes. Now it's like I just turn on the TV and there's something interesting on. So why Star Wars? What's Star Wars doing to demand my eyes? There's actually a lot of content that I need to watch that I just have been putting off. So
yeah, like what?
Like I haven't seen just seen a lot of movies, and I've just been trying to see more movies because I had like my dream of going to film school and like being a film nerd, and then my mom was like, no, like you should fall back on something useful. So I chose music education, and then here we are. I do a podcast, and that's literally the only thing I have working for me right now. So, where was I with this before I got sad? No, it just, I've been trying to watch more movies. Like, I really want to watch, it's on top of my list, Point Break now, because you sold it so well. I haven't seen The Matrix. Actually, all of Keanu Reeves'
We need
movies.
to have a Keanu Reeves on.
Yeah, sign me up. I hate myself because I've only seen Keanu Reeves in Bill and Ted movies, and I think what's the one with Speed? Is he in Speed?
Yeah, he's in Speed.
I've seen Speed. I've seen Speed.
I have not seen Speed. I should. I would love it.
The only reason I watched Speed is because there was like a conspiracy on YouTube where somebody had like 300 copies of Speed in a bathtub. And I was like, why does this man have 300 VHS copies of Speed in a bathtub? I need to watch Speed. And then it just stressed me out. It's a high anxiety movie. But I love the idea of being a Keanu fan. Also, I don't know. I guess there's like a lot of stuff that I put on a list and I'm like, I should watch this, and I just don't end up watching it.
I have that problem where instead of watching movies, I'll just watch clips of movies.
That's what I've been doing.
And then I feel like I've watched that movie, and I'll say I've watched that movie, and then someone's like, do you remember the scene? And I'll just be like, no.
'Cause I didn't see it. I watched the clip.
Wait.
I will never remember any scene from Avengers Age of Ultron, which is not a YouTube like 3-minute clip, because I don't know about you, but I don't remember anything from Ultron.
I did not watch it. It was too gray for me.
It was
that
super
and
gray.
Civil War I have not seen.
You haven't seen Civil War? Civil War is only good. It's good because of a lot of reasons, but it's really good because of just it makes you feel things, and you're like, why am I feeling so many emotions right now? Oh, stop it! And then Spider-Man gets introduced, and you're like, oh, I forgot. There's only one colorful thing in this movie, and it's Spider-Man.
I've seen that bit.
Yeah, and that's actually the only bit that I remember from Civil War because I've watched it on YouTube recently. But it's like fun watching Robert Downey Jr. cry. I was Team Iron Man the whole time, even after the crying. I was still more like, I don't know. Steve Rogers is kind of a dick in that movie. He's like really emotional. So is Tony. They're all emotional. Why did we give these men the power to be emotional in front of us? I don't know.
Did you see the Endgame trailer that was just a clip of the movie?
No, I didn't. I refused. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Captain America swears in it.
What? Spoilers.
Language.
Yeah, no, I got that spoiler because my friend tweeted the clip and was just like, language. And I was like, oh, so Captain America swears? Thanks for spoiling the whole movie. It's through all 3 hours.
That's some real character development there. Oh, he's serious.
And it's like, I'm pretty sure when Cap was like being a normal human being, everyone around him was swearing. There were soldiers, there were boxers. You mean to tell me he was such a goody two shoes? He wasn't swearing at the fucking gym. Like, he's also from fucking. I'm sorry. Now I'm swearing because I'm mad about it. No, I don't know. All right, whatever.
It's
I read a stupid Quora article where somebody was like, really, Captain America's superpower is not that he's superhuman, but that he's superhumane. And I was like, fuck off.
Wow.
It was like, okay, Captain America's superpower is that he's a good person. Makes me mad because I guess maybe I'm not good enough. I think people who are like Team Cap or like hardcore Team Cap or like they think that they're better than me, and that's fine. Maybe they are. I wrote notes about Captain Marvel that I wanted to discuss with you.
I've forgotten so much.
I wrote notes specifically because
I should have been taking notes, but I needed to absorb the movie.
Let's go see it again. I wrote Seth Rogen equals Simba? Question mark.
Okay, why does Seth Rogen have second billing for live action Lion King?
I don't understand it. I have to say that it's because he's like the biggest name, like other than like some of like the other ones. Like it doesn't make sense. Let's just get it out there that it doesn't make sense. But is Seth Rogen really that big a star now? Have we fallen so low, or is he risen so high? What do you think?
Is it because the people going to see the movie
are white? Is
it
because
or just super like? I feel like a lot of like 20-something-year-olds are gonna go see Lion King like super stoned.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Because even just watching that trailer was a lot for me visually.
Yeah, it was a lot, and also it just made me feel weird because it was just a shot-for-shot remake of all the scenes that we've seen in 2D.
A lot of
in
it
3D.
Is kind of like the same thoughts I have when I see stuff that's rotoscoped, where you're drawing over film. You could just show the film.
Yeah.
You could just use the film. Like, if you're just doing CGI over the 2D stuff, just re-release the 2D stuff in theaters.
Which they've done. We've seen The Lion King in 2D in theaters multiple times. It's come out again. I've also seen Toy Story multiple times in theaters well after the fact. But
or just do sock puppets.
Have you ever seen Be Kind, Rewind?
Yes.
I'm gonna piss on the graves of your ancestor. You can't say that. This is a children's movie. It's part 2. We're doing part 2. That was my favorite version of The Lion King.
They also had their own movie that was still called Lion
King 1.5, and it had its own original songs. I had a bootleg copy of it.
I had the actual DVD.
Ooh, all right. Somebody has the commentary. No matter how much we want him to be baby Simba or adult Simba or any of the Simbas, he's Pumbaa. And we have to accept that Pumbaa has second billing. It's called The Lion King, not Timon and Pumbaa, which had a great show on Disney Channel. But Seth Rogen, because like when this movie came out, like when it got announced, everyone was like, look at this all black cast, except for John Oliver and Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner, because John Oliver is Zazu, and Billy Eichner is Timon, and Seth Rogen is Pumbaa. But it's like, I guess Disney's like, we've already won all of the awards for Black Panther, so we can stop putting people of color at the forefront of their movies. It's a bold take, I know.
They're like, we filled our quota, we're done.
They're like, we're done being good to minorities because Black Panther won awards. Also Green Book. We didn't do it, but there it is. My notes are so chicken scratched because it was not only the dark, but this is also a piece of like sticker paper that I found because I forgot my notebook.
What I don't get is Disney would have, I can already tell you, Disney would have made more money just releasing a digital, like a DVD copy of the Broadway musical.
Oh my God, yeah.
If they just filmed it.
Yeah, no, they would have made a bunch of money off that.
Because people are still going to go see it.
That show still
live.
Sells out.
You could put out a DVD, but people will still go see it live because live theater is amazing.
Yeah. Which is so funny to me because it was this same woman behind that was the brain behind Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. but she had the help of Bono. Julie Taymor and Bono were the driving force of Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, which never made it out of previews because 17 understudies were injured being Spider-Man, doing trapeze work.
I would have loved to have seen it.
Did you ever see the Conan bits that he used to do about it?
No.
Conan used to be like, we have a scene from Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark here tonight, and he did like 3 of them, but everybody is like in a wheelchair or has casts on. It's great.
My favorite thing that's ever been done on Netflix is strictly the Kimmy Schmidt bit where Titus auditions for Spider-Man 2, Too Many Spider-Men.
Because that's, I think, what we can call every comic book convention after Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Is Too Many Spider-Men.
I'm throwing this up.
I love
it.
I also love when he
I
auditions
can't
for
remember a
Cats.
lot of Kimmy Schmidt. I watched the whole thing.
I don't remember the first season that well, also because it's like they had to turn down the racism a lot because this show was just kind of racist for a hot second.
That's
there.
also kind of just Tina Fey.
Yeah.
But the best bits are in the show are anytime Titus is trying to do theater, and it was Spider-Man 2, and then in the last season, he finds out that Cats isn't a real Broadway show. It's just a bunch of rejected actors going on stage and taking over the theater.
Which is my favorite thing.
They just make it up.
It made so much sense to me. I think at one point this note is very, it's not a good note. It just says, Jude Law, creepy as fuck. I couldn't tell if he was trying to be like, your teacher, but I also want to fuck you. But also...
The dynamic was really weird.
It was weird. And it's like...
Because my whole thing was like, oh, they've already boned by the time you see them in that first scene.
Like, I thought they boned. I was like, where's the... Like, they boning now? Are they going to go bone now? Are they going to start this Disney movie?
I immediately thought about... I think it's AI, where he's like a sex robot.
Never saw that movie.
That Pinocchio remake where Jude Law is a sex robot.
Oh my god, see, this is what I mean by movies I haven't seen. I just gotta see more movies. 'Cause that sounds like all the pitch I need.
AI, Haley Joel Osment.
Oh my god.
It's a futuristic take on Pinocchio, and originally it was conceived by Stanley Kubrick. Who wanted to make a more Spielberg-type movie, but then he died. And then Spielberg decided to finish it, to make this movie, but decided to make it more Kubrick-like. So it's a very weird movie to watch because every time it's about to hit that level of Spielberg whimsy, it gets very, very creepy.
It sounds like I should watch this movie. But
it has the brat from Lizzie McGuire in it.
Oh, how fun. What year did this come out?
That 2001. AI, and then what was that Robin Williams movie? Bicentennial Man.
I also didn't see that movie.
Oh.
I haven't seen any movies.
Bicentennial Man has Robin Williams, and he's like this robot butler who wants... These two movies are basically the same thing because they creep me out, and I go through like an existential crisis where I just end both films going, I don't want to die. But he's this like robot butler that eventually, through several years, slowly replaces his parts with more human-like bits. So like first I think he gets like skin, and then replaces like his insides with like half robotic, half
yeah,
actual
like a little cyborg man.
Yeah, he basically becomes a cyborg man, and at the end of the movie he gets decreed like an actual living person because enough of him is less it's basically the reverse of Darth Vader.
Okay, cool. I get it.
Both make me cry. Both make me want to live forever. And then I cry even more because I know that's not going to happen.
Oh, an emotional roller coaster already. You've already taken me on an emotional
Both
roller coaster.
very creepy. And I think as a robot butler, he falls in love with this little girl and then winds up marrying her granddaughter or something. Very Captain America-like.
So oh my god, that's right. I always forget about that aspect of Captain America. And also...
Have you seen the original shitty version of the Captain America movie?
No.
I think it was like in the 80s or 90s.
Oh, the one where it's like just like a
it's just a really
and, like,
bad...
he's not like muscular like Chris Evans is muscular. He's just like beefy.
Yeah.
And he's just like in a... Yeah, that's...
It's I think it was mostly just him running around.
Yeah, and there's like a motorcycle scene, right?
Yeah.
That's like on a beach. Or is that the show? I think I'm thinking of the show. But all of those old, like, the first, like, shots at superhero movies are kind of painful. Like, just, like, a little bit. Except for Batman, I think.
Who did the first Fantastic Four movie?
Oh, my God. I don't remember the directors, but that's what I was going to say. I watched the fight scene from where Johnny Storm, Chris Evans, fights Dr. Doom in Rise of the Silver Surfer. And have you seen that movie? Have you seen Rise of the Silver Surfer?
No.
In Rise of the Silver Surfer, when they need to have the final climactic fight scene against Dr. Doom, instead of coming together as a team, the Fantastic Four gives Johnny all of their powers. And Johnny fights Dr. Doom using all 4 of their powers. And it's Chris Evans just flying around, becoming CGI stretched out, becoming CGI invisible, becoming CGI rock, and being on fire and fighting Dr. Doom. So in the movie that is about a team of superheroes with all of their powers, they literally say, we can't beat them on our own. We need everyone. And then they just give their powers to Johnny Storm.
I feel like everyone was just like, we give up.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to act anymore, and that's why Chris Evans is now Captain America.
I like how we went from Chris Evans being Human Torch to being the douche in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World to Captain America.
The connections are wild. He was dating Brie Larson.
I want him to skateboard.
And Scott Pilgrim.
I want him to skateboard in the next Avengers movie. Like, before the end, he just needs to do, like, a kickflip.
Yeah. Captain America, he's like, I'm done with the Avengers, and he just ollies out.
He and Tony Hawk just, like... He's just like, hey, man. And Captain America's just like, we're both 100-year-old men in children's movies, and they skate off into the sunset. And then we keep getting shots of Thor and Captain Marvel looking at each other.
I wanted to end. Captain America, alarm goes off. He jumps up out of bed and he just goes, I'm late, and then just skateboards into the sunset.
That's easily one of the best options they can go with. That, or if the shot of them in the spaceship going to fight Thanos is them just leaving Earth. They're just like, fuck it. Fuck it.
I want to rewrite a lot. I just want to rewrite movies so that they do have that, like, late 80s, early 90s thing where characters just wake up and they're late for something and then they skateboard down the street. Oh my God.
I just bought, speaking of movies that I bought on iTunes, I bought Good Burger. And that movie starts with Ed. Well, actually, Ed is in Good Burger already. There's an opening scene in Good Burger where the food is flying around, but then he wakes up after the opening credits and skateboards to work, or roller skates to work to a Less Than Jake song, which is ridiculous and so 90s. And then then Kenan Thompson gets in an accident with Sinbad, and how does that not scream telling of the times?
And
is this a Brie Larson song?
No.
Unfortunate.
Just the way I want every movie to open is the aforementioned skateboard, but the song that plays in the background has to be Grow Up by Simple Plan.
I love that song.
I promise I won't change.
'Cause I'll never give up, and I'll never be told to give up. Your neighbors are gonna kick us out. They're gonna be like, no Simple Plan.
I've only had one neighbor complain about me.
Singing Simple Plan?
No. About using my Swiffer.
Oh, yeah, the guy downstairs. Right?
Yeah,
He's gone, though, right?
He's moving.
Get the fuck out. Hey, punk.
Apartment hunting website sent me an email about how the unit below me is for rent if I'm interested.
That's funny. I get apartment notifications all the time because no apartment app ever assumes that you found an apartment.
Yeah.
They're always telling you about apartments that are available, and I get so many notifications. They're like, studio apartment, $9.95 a month, right next to you. And I'm like, I'm not looking for an apartment based on where I'm walking at the moment, but thanks. But Simple Plans Grow Up is easily an anthem for every kid who was raised by television in the 90s, I would say. 90s and 2000s. I think we've all just refused to grow up because of that song.
That song I always thought was in a lot of movies, but it's not.
No, it's
not.
I
don't think
but
it is.
It would fit.
I think it was just
every
there were
movie.
too many songs that were very similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, also any Simple Plan song, I think, could be subbed for almost any Simple Plan song. I've seen them live once.
Have you seen New York Minute?
It's the Mary-Kate and Ashley movie, right?
The only one released in theaters.
I haven't. I don't want to say that I haven't seen it because I'm almost certain that I have, but it was also when I was a child. So
one of the main plot points in that movie is that one of the characters is trying to go to a Simple Plan music video shoot in Central Park. And every time I watch that movie, I forget that the lead singer of Simple Plan looks like Dane Cook.
I thought he was Dane Cook when I saw them live. I was like, is Dane Cook the singer for Simple Plan?
And if you think about the way Dane Cook sounds when he talks, you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he could sing like that. It's like when you find out that, like, you hear Tom DeLonge and then you see Tom DeLonge and you're like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he kind of looks like he would talk and sing like an idiot. Apparently that's just a dialect, but...
That's just how pop punk singers sing.
Apparently it's like influenced by like the area in California that they supposedly grew up in, but I think it's a little both. Like, you get it for the culture, you know?
Yeah.
You know how all of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are like soul soundtracks?
Mm-hmm.
If you could put your creative stamp on a franchise, what realm does the music stay in? Is it gonna be 90s, early 2000s pop punk the whole time?
I would make sure that the soundtrack to the next Marvel movie, if I had the choice for Endgame.
If Ali Domeyer directing Endgame, last call.
The soundtrack would only be one song played on a loop, and it would be Basement Jaxx, Where's Your Head At?
Where's your head at? And it's just like
Where's your head at?
It's everyone's just like, whatever it takes. Where's your head? I'm like imagining that, like, you know how like there's just like a deep moment, just like,
if we can't save the world. Was that tagline?
If we can't save the world, then you're damn sure we're gonna avenge it.
Where's your... I can't do anything without breaking and laughing.
No, I think that's... Also, I want that, and I also want, like...
It has, like, a really strong, like, horn sound that song does.
It's can we just recut the Avengers Endgame trailer so that it would be, like... that one that's the only song that plays, but then also it's the only background noise. So it's like Steve Rogers is like, this has to work because I don't know what's gonna happen if it doesn't. And then just in the back, I'm just like picturing just like really far in the distance, like you know how like when it sounds like somebody's like screaming from a distance, it's like, hey, it's just, where's your head? Or in the empty vastness of space, no sound. It's. I think we need to just recut trailers. I think we could. Oh, there's so much to work with too, because there's like 12 minutes of the movie been released at this point. I think if I had the final say on Endgame, I would make sure that the song Electric Avenue had at least like a character is introduced to Electric Avenue. I know. I jump the gun. I bring in Nova early, and he comes out to Electric Avenue. And everyone's like, this plot point makes no sense. And I'm like, who cares? It's Avengers. You're going to watch it anyway, and it's great. Also, I wrote on here, what is this verse bullshit? Because...
Yeah, it took me a while to figure out how they got that name. They took their sweet time getting to it.
They took so long getting to the reveal of why Carol Danvers is called Vers by the Kree. And spoilers, by the way. A fucking dog tag.
Not even a whole thing, but who just like picks up like some shit off the floor? Also, they're the
Kree, yeah.
They have their own written language that is established by by Captain Marvel, by fucking Vers. So
wouldn't they have named her something in their own language? Or like
definitely
also,
that, but also it's just like I doubt that the English language would have been introduced to this alien planet.
No, but they did have universal translators.
Yeah, but does it translate?
It's universal.
Oh, I guess.
The universe. I mean, she at least established that like super early. She
yeah,
crashes in the Radio Shack, and she's like, "Is my universal translator working?"
For speaking.
Yeah, but like the written word. Also, I like her little thing in her arm that she can put anything into. It's like a hypercube, but for the arm. I just was like mad. I think that made me mad that they were calling her Vers, and there was no true explanation to why they were calling her
They weren't even calling her Vers, they were calling her Veers.
Veers, yeah, they were calling her Veers.
And then when you like find out why, you're just like, but that's not how that's pronounced, too.
No, yeah. And
it's just, there's a whole lot wrong there.
And I have to say, biggest complaint with the movie. That, and I think they could have like shown us a little bit of her backstory before we like saw that she lost her memories. I don't know. I kind of wanted to feel like I was let into a little bit more of what was going on with her backstory, because like the ultimate reveal was like, oh yeah, that's what I was assuming. So why didn't you just tell me?
Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong.
I will say, like, out of all the Marvel characters so far, it was the best backstory done.
Yeah. I'm glad that it wasn't just like brushed off, and they weren't just like, here she is.
The best new Star Wars film, also a great remake of Men in Black.
Oh my God! Please go into more detail about how this is a Men in Black movie. Also,
spoilers.
This is a spoiler review.
Cats have the thing that aliens are looking for. Main character has memory erased. Aliens wear human skins.
Oh my God! Aliens wear human skins.
And also invade Earth for the thing that the cats have.
I'm like trying to remember like what the hell was happening in this movie, and I like had to remind myself that it's like the Kree are technically the ones invading, and there's a lot of twists, a lot of turns, not just in the dogfight, but yeah, it was kind of a movie that the first time I watched it, I was like, am I following this correctly? Because I'm confused. But the second time, I was like, oh no, this makes a lot of sense. Maybe I was just an idiot. But I definitely just wrote Vers bullshit. I also wrote, oh my God, it was so dark. I think I just wrote light speed tech and quantum particles. Our last two Marvel movies have just introduced new pieces of technology to us. Ant-Man and the Wasp reveals quantum particles or whatever that is, like the really small particles that do magic stuff. And then this one's like, oh, now we can travel at the speed of light. So are those the tools to beat Thanos, going really fast and having tiny particles?
Do you see that video on, I think it was going around Twitter first. And I don't know where it came from, but it was just like the Ant-Man trying to fly up Thanos' ass.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those memes because my brother sends them to me. There's one where it's just Ant-Man running, and everything behind him is purple. And it's such a funny joke to me, and like such a funny meme to me, because we've established that Ant-Man can shrink between particles. Like, he wouldn't need an opening. Like, he doesn't need to go into any opening to get inside Thanos' body. He could just go between atoms and go and be inside his body. So, if he did go that route, it's a power move. It's not even a last resort. It's a, I'm sticking it to you. I'm sticking it right to you. Also, I'm still shocked that Paul Rudd is in this universe.
It feels weird.
It doesn't feel right. It's like Jeff Goldblum made sense. Paul Rudd doesn't make sense. But Jeff Goldblum got killed off in the universe, so it's like, I really just wanted a spin-off where it was just Jeff Goldblum's character from Thor Ragnarok.
During his orgies.
Yeah, I just wanted to see the orgies that Jeff Goldblum's character runs. Because he was a great character. I watched Planet Hulk the other day because I was bored. And
I think you mean Hulk Planet.
Hulk Planet. And I was like, oh my god, Thor Ragnarok was Planet Hulk so much more than, like, I always knew that they stole stuff from Planet Hulk. But I was like, holy shit, like, this whole planet is just, like, loosely based off of the other one. Like, everything that's happening is basically... Well, also, like, in the cartoon movie of Planet Hulk, Beta Ray Bill comes to fight Hulk in the arena, and Beta Ray Bill is just, like, a horse alien version of Thor. And so I was like, so did somebody just see this? And they're like, we can make a Thor movie out of this one battle. And they did. They 100% just made a Thor movie out of one battle. And it's the best Thor movie. You're looking at me like...
I just ran out of things to say.
It's time to wrap it up. You're like, and that's fine. I think we got some good stuff.
Yeah.
I think also we can, like, I wouldn't be opposed to, like, having some prepared stuff for next time.
That's what I think we should do. I think we need a...
Yeah. Like, I think I expected us to talk more Captain Marvel, but we don't have notes. So it's like we're just talking baselessly.
I should have prepared notes, but I didn't.
Honestly, no, I shouldn't I should have talked to you about it beforehand.
Yeah, we need to do more work.
Yeah, and like I love hanging out with you, don't get me wrong.
Oh, great time. Great time. We should be professional though.